Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits as it should. Why? Because every day above the dirt is a blessing. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Thank you guys so much for filing in, being a part of the conversation, being a part of this whole situation. It has been days, guys. Okay. We have been out here talking about this, covering this case, and we are still don't know where this man is. It's the wildest situation. It's the wildest case I've seen in a while. Okay. Like, it screams Danilo Cavalcante, but also at the same time, this one doesn't really have. This should be an open and shut case, I would think. But because of the terrain, because of everything, man, this is crazy. And now we're starting to learn some new updates, some new things about this guy from a neighbor, which I think is really, really interesting. So before we get into everything, okay, hit that like button down below. Do what it needs to do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. That'd be greatly appreciated. If you are watching on those other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. I'm on all of them or most of them, okay? So go check that out. Subscribe to my main channel here, okay? The Pascal Show, but go over to my secondary channel, the Pascal Show Clips. Crush that subscribe button over there on my secondary channel because a lot of short form videos are over there, okay? And I've been cranking out a lot of them over the past few days, especially a lot of them covering this particular case here. So please be sure to hit that subscribe button over there, please, okay? Of course, hit that join button down below. Become a member. Support if you can. That'll be dope. Also, please check out Patreon. Patreon.com/The Pascal Show. And we got merch. So go check out my merch page. Okay? PascalMerch.com. All right? We got some really great stuff over there. All right, guys. This is not going to be a super, super long show. Okay? But there is a lot of stuff that has come out over the past 24, 48 hours. Honestly, yesterday I didn't really cover that much at all on this channel because I was like, well, there's not a whole lot of big pieces of information out here. There's not a whole lot yet. And I was kind of waiting for more stuff to just kind of drop in our laps. But nonetheless, we are here, okay, to talk about this man right here. Joseph A. Couch. He is still at large, y'all. Man, it's been 5 days. We are now in the 5th day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. 5 days. And the cops have not found him at all. This is crazy. Okay? And now we're hearing some information about neighbors talking about their run-ins with Joseph Couch. There's also been like rumors and stuff like that that's been flying around here about him. Maybe he's, maybe he has bouts, he's battling addiction and all that stuff. I've heard different rumors and different things running around. It's a small town, right? And people in small towns get really chatty. People talk a lot, right? And so there's a lot of things that are being said out here that haven't really been confirmed, right? So still very interesting. Okay. I'm in the garden. Do I have any of family interviews? If family have been interviewed, if Joseph Couch's family have been interviewed, that is news to me. So shoot. But I have not seen anything about that. Okay. I don't know what that was. That was weird. That was really, really weird. Okay. But that was so odd. Anyway, I think Siri heard me say something and then started freaking out. That was very odd. Okay. But outside of that, all right, we have not seen not one inkling of this man. Okay. There have been eyewitnesses saying that he was in a, he was running across the street, crossing an intersection, shirtless, wearing a red hat. Okay. Apparently they said that he didn't have a weapon on him. Okay. It was just him running across the intersection. We know that police have his AR-15, which is also something that is very interesting because the police still believe that he could potentially still be armed out here. We now know also the text messages that he sent to his ex-wife saying that he wanted to hurt a lot of people and then he wanted to do something bad to himself and all that stuff as well. So we know all of these pieces, right? There's a bunch of pieces that we've been learning revolving around this case, but still they have not found him in those woods. Now, I understand that the terrain is very thick, it's very dense woods, it's very rough terrain and all that stuff as well. But at the same time, it's very strange, right? It's very, very strange. And we still are trying to figure out exactly what happened here. And also, where's the dude, right? Where's this mother-loving dude, okay? Where is he? I'd like to know where he is too, all right? Because he could be long gone by now. Like I said, he can be in Paris right now. He could be in Paris chilling, okay, eating some French toast. I don't know. He's somewhere, but I don't know if he's really in the area that police are hovering around. Then, of course, there's the theory, speculation that maybe he did something to himself, right? Self-deletion, for lack of a better term, and that he could just be out there. But if they've been combing through the dense woods like they say that they are, and he's unalive, then they would be able to find his body. I would think they would be able to eventually find his body fairly quickly. Right? Eventually, at least. But we're in day five, and still nothing. Okay. But I do want to share with you guys this because, like I said, it's very interesting because we do have a neighbor now speaking out. Okay. And he is saying a few things that I thought was, okay, this is very interesting. Also, it speaks about another. This is something what's weird. Okay. So they talk about a weapon being used. They talk about what happened. This neighbor talks about a weapon being used to threaten him. Okay. And his little dog too. And then of course, allegedly the dog lost his life because as a result of something that Joseph A. Couch did to the dog. Yeah. And no, it's not some migrant running around just taking up dogs in Kentucky. Okay? Definitely not. This is what they're alleging, that there may be a connection between this dog losing his life and Joseph A. Couch. So let's take a look at this. Yeah, it's a doggy. It's a little doggy. So Knox County man says suspect, okay, in this whole situation from this tragedy from I-75, okay, threatened to unalive him, okay, and his dog earlier this year. But of course, I'm sorry for the spoiler alert, but the dog is no longer with us, okay? All dogs go to heaven, so he definitely went to heaven, all right? So we are learning more about the alleged criminal past of the man who is the subject of the Southern Kentucky manhunt. Joseph Couch's neighbor is talking to us about a terroristic threatening complaint. The man, who does not want to be identified, tells us that Couch pointed a pew-pew at him and threw a rock at his small dog. Deputies arrested Couch over the incident last winter. By the way, this happened last winter. Remember the timeline, and also remember the pew-pew is being pointed at him, and then he threw a rock at this small dog. Just remember the pew-pew, because I think that's important to remember, okay? But he was released after officials said the complaint never came to court. Joseph Couch lived at home in Gray. Interesting. Joseph Couch lived at a home in Gray. And we'd been talking about Colt Gray and Colin Gray. It's weird. That's just so weird. But anyway, weird coincidence. But he lived in a home in Gray between Barberville and Corbin for several years. And back in February, his neighbor filed a complaint against him over what he alleged took place between their homes. The man says that Couch threw a rock and hit his small dog. When he asked Couch why he did that, he said Couch went inside his house, got a pew-pew, came back out and pointed it at him and started cursing at him and said he would unalive him and his dog. This is while the man says his 9-year-old daughter was with him. Man, so a kid was right there, right? That's crazy, right? I tried reasoning with him, but of course, there was no reasoning with him. I went and had a warrant for his arrest. After they picked him up, I figured they would notify me. Never did notify me of a court date or nothing. Wasn't even notified of his release after this man pointed a pew-pew and threatened my life and my child's life, he said. This man tells us that for a while, Coach was a good neighbor and that their children even played together. However, he says somehow it all changed and he was no longer neighborly. The man who filed the complaint tells WKYT he wants to make it clear that he did not show up in court because he was not notified of the court date, which is very interesting. Maybe he, because even Diddy didn't show up to a court date. Did they have the same? Did that person, whoever sent out the notices in the mail, did they send it the same way that Diddy got it? That's very interesting, though. Okay. So WKTY or WYT has reached out to the county attorney as to why the neighbor was not served with the court date. The neighbor says his dog was found unalive several days later after the incident, but does not know if it was a result of being hit with the rock. Okay, so first off, that's crazy. Okay? Crazy, right? Now, what's wild about this, again, is that you got Couch pointing a pew-pew at a neighbor and threatening to, end his life, do whatever, right? Threatening to do all kinds of crazy stuff. But what's also very interesting about this, okay, is that it shows proof positive that he does have another weapon. Remember, he left aside the road in this close proximity to his car that he ditched, the AR that he bought that very day. So if he's pointing a pew-pew at this father and daughter, these neighbors last winter, there's a good possibility that he still has that pew-pew on his person. Or he could have traded it in, sold it so that he can get a bigger gun. I don't know, but at the same time, it does tell you that this man has had weapons in his possession and that him doing this is not, this is all part of his thing. He randomly just starts pointing a pew-pew at them, saying that he's going to unalive him and the dog too. Why? Don't know. That is very, very odd. Okay. But we're going to go to a news clip here, and I want to share that with you guys as well. Let's take a listen to this. This is the neighbor actually speaking. All right.
Manhunt in southern Kentucky did serve some time in jail earlier this year. Joseph Couch was arrested after his neighbor swore out a warrant against him. That neighbor says it was over a threat, and he's talking to us about what took place. WKYT's Phil Pendleton spoke to him and has more.
A Knox County man says he had no trouble with Joseph Couch when he moved into his home in the Gray community a few years ago.
He was a very quiet person. Like I said, up until this past February, he did socialize with us. He would say hi. He would let his son come over here.
The neighbor who wanted his identity concealed says something changed in February of this year. Says Couch threw a rock at his dog and got upset when confronted about it.
Next thing I know, the man goes in his house, comes back out, and me and my 9-year-old are staring at a man with an AR pointed at us and said the next time that he would shoot us and the dog.
The warrant does.
Hold on. I know it might be a little hard to hear. It's very, very low, but I got it cranked all the way up. Hold on, let me make sure it's all the way up on here too. Yeah, it's all the way up. Excuse me. But I do want to point something out. He just said something that I think is very, very interesting and telling. Because he says that in February, he says things got weird in February. Hold on. Let me rewind that because I think that's really important. He said that he pointed an AR. So what did he do? Did he sell the AR and then buy another one again? I'm confused. So has he always had an AR in his possession? And then you see what I'm saying? Or was him getting arrested and made him go and get rid of the pew pew, and then suddenly out of nowhere he goes and buys another one? That's very interesting, right? But he was aiming at an AR. That's what this neighbor is claiming towards him and his daughter, his baby girl. That's very weird. But hold on. Let me play that again, that bit again, because that's weird.
He would say hi. He would let his son come over here.
The neighbor who wanted his identity concealed says something changed in February of this year. Says Couch threw a rock at his dog and got upset when confronted about it.
Next thing I know, the man goes in his house, comes back out, and me and my 9-year-old are staring at a man with an AR pointed at us.
You heard that? He had an AR pointed at him. AR pointed at both of them. So like I said, this happened, they're saying February, right? Hold on. I'm sorry for running it back a billion times, but I want to get these facts straight. February of last year or February of this year? I think that's important to hear too. Hold on.
A few years ago.
He was a very quiet person. Like I said,
Okay.
Up until this past February, he did socialize with us.
This past February. Okay. Remember, and let me pull this up too. So this whole situation here, remember his little arrest record here? Let me show you guys. Remember this? Remember his whole arrest record? And then down here, it said this whole thing went down. Charges, arrest record. This happened on February 8th, 2024. This gentleman here, this neighbor, said that this whole thing happened in February. This past February, he pointed an AR at this neighbor and his daughter and threatened both of their lives and the little dog too. This was dismissed. Okay? This was dismissed. So you're telling me that this was dismissed because this gentleman did not receive a notice in the mail letting him know what day the court date was supposed to be. This is what this neighbor's claiming now. Okay? So that's very, very interesting. He's saying, didn't know anything about it. Didn't know anything about a court date. I would have been there to make this whole thing happen. We're going to play the rest of the video, but I just wanted to show you guys because at first we thought maybe this part, the terroristic threatening in the third degree, a lot of us were assuming maybe this had to do with something that happened domestically with like his ex-wife or maybe a girlfriend or something of that sort. But no, it's this story right here. This one right here. He threw a rock at a dog, which allegedly killed this dog. Okay. He was pointing an AR. Okay. AR-15 towards the two of them, daughter and father, and threatening their lives. They weren't able to show up to court, or he wasn't able to make an appearance at court because he didn't even know that there was even a court date even set. So he missed that. Interesting. So let's continue on. Like I said, I wanted to do the math. I wanted to make sure that we all understand that clearly so that we know. So this whole terroristic threatening in the third degree is a real thing. This wasn't just him making a threat on the phone to his ex-girl or some sort of DV type of thing between a lover or anything of that sort. No, this had to do with one of his neighbors. And then later on, a few days later, little dog gone, lost his life. Okay, gone. So let's continue on. Crazy. Now we get some, see what I'm saying? Now we're finally getting the pieces to the puzzle. All right. But that's the reason why that this charge that he got, I guess, thrown out. Right. Okay.
You know, he would say hi. He would let his son come over here.
The neighbor who wanted his identity concealed says something changed in February of this year. Says Couch threw a rock at his dog and got upset when confronted about it.
Next thing I know, the man goes in his house, comes back out, and me and my 9-year-old are staring at a man with an AR pointed at us and said the next time that he would shoot us and the dog.
The warrant does not state the weapon was pointed at them, and a Knox County deputy says the charges would have been different had it stated that. Regardless, Couch was arrested and did serve some time in jail.
Even after the threatening to shoot me, an incident and everything else, I still tried to make peace with him.
Couch's neighbor tells us that this dog was injured during the incident. He says that the dog was then found dead several days later, found in a fence row. He says he's not sure if the dog died the result of the rock throwing incident or if something else happened. The neighbor.
Now, one thing I will say is, to me, he done did that to the dog. Okay. I mean, if there's no other thing, I mean, depending on how old the dog is and all that stuff, you got to put those, those factors in there too. But in my assumption, I think that whatever damage he did to the dog is the thing that took this dog's life. That's what I truly think. Okay. I don't think that the dog just suddenly walked off and just passed away out of a coincidence. Okay. Just out of random. No, I think the guy unalived this dog. The dog lost his life due to Joseph Couch throwing a rock at the dog. Let's be real. You got a small dog, you're throwing a rock at a small dog. Depending on how big the rock is or how hard you're throwing that rock, doesn't matter. That's going to put some serious damage on somebody or some living being, period. Okay. So in my personal opinion, he done did that. Okay. He is the cause of this little dog losing its life. Now, here's the thing. He pointed an AR at them. So he either has owned one. He obviously has owned one in the past, or he wanted to buy a new one. Don't know why he went and bought a new one, but it may be the situation of in February when he did this. Okay. He spent some time in jail. Then everything got dismissed. And I think that he sold the gun. I think he sold the weapon because he didn't want to have any more trouble. I think that's what it is. Or maybe he could sit there and go, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't own an AR. You can go through all my stuff. It doesn't exist. Do you see an AR in here? I don't have it. So he's talking crazy. Okay. Or he still owns it. He kept it and he collected 2 of them. And so he's running around with another one in his possession. You got to remember, there were reports, there were dispatch being said that there was a man running around shirtless, pulling the trigger with a weapon. So there's a possibility he's running around here with 2 ARs. Or not running around here with 2 ARs, but he had 2 ARs and then discarded one of them, maybe because it was too cumbersome, too much to carry, and is still carrying that other AR-15. That's a possibility, right? Or he could literally have a small firearm with him, or he could have nothing with him at all. Okay? He could be without weapons, without pew-pews here, and then running out there, right? Yeah, TJ, that was what I was about to do today. And I think I'm going to do that in another live here in a little bit, but that's crazy. Okay. We're going to talk about that in a little bit because I had that all set up. And then I was like, nah, I need to do an update on this because I haven't talked about it at all. Okay. Except on my secondary channel. So I'm like, all right, let me just give you guys some updates about this and everything. Okay. So anyway, so he could still very well have very well have owned 2 ARs, taken the new one out for a spin, meaning going and taking aim on the highway, right? Taking aim on the highway, doing his thing, or he discarded the old one and bought a new one. Anything's possible here, but it is very weird nonetheless.
Couch's behavior had been odd over the past few months leading up to the situation that happened Saturday on the interstate.
I can't even speculate why he did what he did or what pushed him to do what he did.
He says it's simply a very unfortunate situation for everyone and feels for Couch's family as well. We've had to deal with all of this. In Knox County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Yeah, again, pretty wild stuff, okay? This is the encounter, and this is the reason why there was that charge. This is one of the reasons why recently he was thrown in jail. Again, this is somebody who is not very well, okay? He is obviously mentally not well. Let's keep it real. This man is not well right now, and he's out here somewhere, and we got to figure out, and law enforcement needs to figure out exactly where he be at, okay? Now, there is some more stuff. Hold on. I got more stuff. More stuff. They also have increased the reward now to $35K. $35,000 for anyone who knows where the heck this man is. Ain't that crazy? Let's take a look at this. This is a short video here too. Hamburger.
Suspected of opening fire on a busy Kentucky interstate on Saturday. For more than 4 days now, police have been combing through jungle-like terrain in search of Joseph Couch.
Now, the reward for information leading to his capture now at $35,000. Right now,
$35K, guys. $35K. So let me just say this again. If you do know where this man is and you're watching this show, first off, hi, what's up? But please do the right thing. Call 50. Let them know what you know. Again, if you know anything, say something. If you see something, say something. Okay? This guy can't be this crafty. Real talk. This man right here cannot be this crafty. Okay? He really can't. All right? This is insane. Okay? We're walking into day 5 and still nothing. Okay? Wild. He is not Houdini. He is somewhere there. See, he's somewhere out here, guys. And they need to find him as soon as possible.
the U.S. Forest Service is closing the Trace National Recreation Trail during the search. Investigators say at this point, they don't know if he is dead or alive.
However, the uncertainty has prompted schools, businesses, even some churches to close their doors.
We were far enough away. I will tell you this, we were extra vigilant on security and making sure that the place was safe, and locked a few extra doors and had a few extra guys in places to make sure we were keeping an eye on things. So this is right here in my little town of London, Kentucky. We've got an active shooter and concerned that he might, he could drive by my house. I don't know.
Authorities say that it's up to each school to make a decision on whether to cancel classes out of precaution.
I mean, let's be real. What would you do if you were, the principal of the school or whatever, right? What would you do? Would you let schools be open, or would you just shut everything down? Because again, this is somebody who's out here and they don't know where this guy is. Okay? They really don't. And we don't want another Uvalde situation where a guy just waltzes right into the school, just straight up into the campus, straight off the road, and just starts opening fire on kids. Okay? And that's the other thing too. S-Dubs, you got a good question there. You know, for how long can they keep these doors shut? Right? How long can they keep a school shut? Because this guy could be out there forever. Like I said, we're walking into day 5. We are waltzing into day 5, and we still have not found not one thing about this guy. We do not know. We do not know where he is, what he's doing, whether he's wearing a shirt or not, whether he has an AR with him or another deadly weapon with him. We don't know anything, right? So it's like, yes, I was going to say, what do we do? Teach virtually again? Go back to the time of the lockdown and teach virtually until this stuff subsides, until they find their man? It's a good question nonetheless. You know, it's a solid question to ask nonetheless. But I don't know. You know, I don't know if I can answer that personally. Because obviously I'm not a teacher there or the principal, but still, how long do you sit there and do this for? You know, will he ever be found? Shoot.
And law enforcement officials encourage the community to continue coming forward with any tips that may be helpful.
5:25 this morning, and the USDA has identified the grocery stores who had Boar's Head deli meats recalled under a list.
And that has nothing to do with that. And that's crazy how they're like salmonella and all that stuff. That's a little bit of a left turn, but still, it's scary. The amount of stuff that's going on out here. Real quick, Kimberly in Japan, thank you so much for being a member for the past 22 months. Wow, it's been a long time. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pascal, for your hard work and sending love to you and our lovely mods. Yes, shout out to the mods. What a world we breathe in. Be good to each other and stay safe, Fanburgers. Yes, I agree, 110%. Yes, we need to remember to be good out here. All right. We are definitely living in some scary times. Period. Shit. Pardon my French. Sorry for cursing, but at the same time, let's not forget there was a shooting, a poking that just recently happened. Let's not forget that too. Ain't that crazy? And that happened this morning too. Another school in another incident where someone was actually attacked in school. Again, how often? Okay. How often does this happen? How often? Why is it even happening? You know what I'm saying? Now we got people getting poked in school. Just yesterday, we had another situation, right? A kid hit in the stomach at another school. Last night, another dude was aiming in the highway, okay, in a truck stop area. Dude got arrested. Thank God, Nicholas Noyes, if I'm correct. But other than that, I'm like, what the hell's going on, man? Another one. That's crazy, guys. That's crazy. All of these, just one after the other, after the other, after the other. It just keeps going and going and going and going and going and going. It's like, oh my Lord. It makes you curse because you just don't know what you're like. It's just like, when does it stop? When is the chaos going to actually stop? This is insane. And it continues to keep going and going. And I don't know, man. I really don't. But I do want to share this, the press conference that they had yesterday, just a little bit of it, because obviously they are saying the same stuff that they've said before. But I do want to share a little bit of that because I know some of us have missed that. But again, it's like, wow, how can this happen every single day now? I didn't cover the poking situation, the school poking, because I was sitting there going like, yes, we need to bring awareness to it and you guys need to know about it. But at the same time, I'm like, I need a break, baby. Damn, I need a break. You know, I woke up looking at that and I'm like, damn, again? Again? What is going on? You can't go anywhere without being worried about somebody going in and doing something crazy. And then these kids are not learning how to deal with their feelings. They're not learning how to deal with their mental health and being able to speak out about that mental health. I know that our world right now, we are very aware. Okay. Kids are very aware about mental health, right? That generation is extremely aware. But the generation that we all grew up in, the parents of this world, we didn't grow up in that world of mental health awareness and all that. Okay. They didn't. Or like we didn't. We didn't grow up in that world. Okay. We didn't. So you got parents that are not on the same wavelength or on the same awareness as the kids because that's not how we were grown. That's not how we were raised. You feel me? But these kids are aware and these kids are growing up this way. That's how they're getting raised, right? So it is very interesting, right? You got a lot of kids, you got generations beneath, behind us that are learning to embrace and be more aware of people and that we all are different and we all live different lives and we are all individuals and we're all beautiful people. But that mental health is a real thing and that it's okay to speak out. The generation that I grew up in, nah, that didn't exist. You didn't talk about feelings. You didn't talk about your fees. Hell to the no. You didn't talk about your fees. Okay? You don't. You just don't. That became a new thing in the most recent generations. So again, it's something that I think parents that grew up a certain way, I think it's something that needs to be learned. Now, do I have the answer for that? No, that's not going to answer everything. Kids are going to still get in their feelings, and they're still going to go into schools and do what they do, right? Unless we have parents, schools, law enforcement really listening, right? Being very aware of that very kid that's thinking about doing God knows what. We need to wake up, everybody. All of us do, okay? We need to wake up. You look at Colt Gray's situation, and there was 3 different sectors where there was red flags and no one did anything during those situations. 3 different sectors, right? But a lot of boys that grow up to become men and fathers grew up in the world, at least in generations before, they grew up in it's not manly to speak your heart. It's not manly to speak your feelings. It's not manly to be sensitive. It's not manly to be open and tell people that you're having a problem and that you need to talk to somebody. In fact, you go talk to somebody, you talk to a therapist, then you crazy. That's what adults will look at you like. The generation before these generations that we have now, they're all looking at you going, oh, that's good that you're talking to somebody. But in their head, they're going, oh, damn, he crazy. It's a different time now. So there needs to be more awareness of mental health for sure, period. But if you notice, we have adults, grown adults, raising kids, and those kids are growing up in a different society and a different awareness than what we all grew up in. And that's facts. Take a look at it. It's very interesting. But then at the same time, and sorry to go off on this little soapbox tangent, but if you also notice, this is the reason why you see a lot of these red pilly, blue pill, black pill, purple pill type of content creators that are sitting there going, what's going on with the world? Men need to be men again. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because they're seeing the generations that are coming up changing. Hey, it's up to you on how you see it, if it's for the better or for the worse. But all I'm saying is If you've noticed, that's all they're doing. That's why you see the Kevin Samuels types and the those manosphere type commentators that are coming out being like, we need to bring it back. And it's like, well, there could be elements there that we could bring back, but there's some other things that we could say goodbye to, which is we need to make mental health not have such a negative reaction to it, that it doesn't have to be the stereotype. Okay? That it doesn't have to be the stereotype. Period. Doesn't have to say, oh, I'm having issues and suddenly now, oh, you're just crazy. No, it's just somebody working through something. And that should be okay. But like I said, it's interesting. The generation that we all grew up in and the generations that are to come, it's a little bit different. Okay? And it sucks because you got these kids who are in this more self-aware type of generation. And if they're going through some mental health issues, they're screaming at the parents that lived and grew up in a different type of generation that don't look at mental health as something that you can work on, and it doesn't mean that you're crazy type of situation. At least this is something I've just noticed. And I'm not sitting here saying that this is all parents. But when it comes to something like Colt Gray, who's screaming for help and they don't do anything about it, I mean, that scenario I'm breaking down right here sits perfectly on that situation. But that's just my personal opinion. All right. But let me share with you guys this. Okay. I'm only going to play a little bit of it because obviously this is from yesterday, but they're giving us a little bit of updates. I'm not going to do all the questions and all that because it's all the same crap. And, where is he? Do you think he went to a 7-Eleven and got a Slurpee? Like, it doesn't matter. Where is he? What are they doing? And where is he? That's it, right? So let's take a listen to this really, really quick.
Gunmen accused of shooting 5 people on the highway still on the loose. Let's listen on live now.
In our post area, we did have a shooting that occurred. We have detained one person. We do have one deceased. This has nothing to do with what occurred in Laurel County. I want to continue to say, and I told you yesterday, there's complaints that happen all around us in all our communities, all the counties that we work, the little municipalities, and we're going to continue to investigate these complaints. And if it's another post area, we'll help another post. If another post has to come and help us, or a sheriff's department, or a small agency, we're going to continue to work together to not just solve crimes here in Laurel County, but other jurisdictions as well. And we'll get started. The Kentucky State Police continues to assist the Laurel County Sheriff's Office with the manhunt of Joseph A. Couch. We're going on 72 hours of this manhunt. We remain committed to resolving this situation as swift and safely as possible. We extend our sincerely gratitude to all the community partners, first responders, local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies such as Fish and Wildlife, Federal Forestry Service, ATF, FBI, U.S. Marshal Service, elected officials, and also churches and local organizations that has helped us to feed us, to make sure we got plenty of stuff to drink, and all the other agencies that are helping us that sometimes don't get named, like the sheriff's departments and the city police from outside of our jurisdiction here. But I want to give a big thanks to the London City Police. The London City Police has went way above and beyond. This did not happen or occur in the city limits of London, but this is their community. This is their people. And I want to thank them and their officers. They went way and above and beyond to help us answer calls out in the county. And they've done a great and remarkable job in helping in this situation. And their public affairs officer, me and him and Deputy Archado, we've worked well together, passing on information. I want to thank them. I'm sure I'm leaving people out, but I want to thank everybody. I'm proud. I'm proud to be a Kentuckian. I'm proud to be the public affairs officer from the London State Police Post. And I hope that I'm making people feel at ease. And it's hard. It's hard when people are so at fear right now that there's probably somebody out there. But I know my fellow officers and troopers and all the other people, they're working their guts out to try to find this Mr. Couch and bring us to an end. But I just want to give another thanks. I want to thank, we've had outside agencies give us access to more aircraft. So we've got, several more helicopters in the air and technology. We got the ATF and the FBI and the Marshal Services, and we've got other entities from way off from us that are in contact with us to bring their equipment here to try and help locate Mr. Couch. So I want to thank them. I want to thank the people for being patient. I know you see all this stuff on Facebook, good or bad, but people are really behind us and supporting us. They're really supporting their neighbor. They're really looking out for each other. And we want to thank them for doing that. And we encourage them to continue to check on their neighbor, to check on the elderly person that don't have somebody regularly coming to their house. Make sure you hear from them daily. Make sure you're being vigilant when you go home, that you're checking maybe your camera, your Ring camera. You're checking your security system before you go to the house. Make sure somebody didn't cross through your yard that shouldn't be. Make sure your lights are on. Make sure your cell phones are charged.
Okay. And of course, this is all the same regular protocol that they've been putting out here and talking about searching, talking about keeping everybody safe, trying to keep this, if this guy happens to creep into a house and hold somebody against their will, of course, this makes sense to make sure especially family members that are, elderly, so on and so forth, making sure that they contact you every single day. Right. There's nothing wrong with what they're saying here. I 110% agree with what they're saying here. Absolutely. This is important. We have to keep vigilant. We have to keep our families and the ones that we love safe and all that, because you never know. That guy could be holding somebody up, and he's just hiding out in somebody's house. That could possibly be happening here too. Or he could just still be on the road running. He could have also had help. Somebody could have helped him. You never know, right? He could be kicking rocks by the help of some other people. God only knows. But to me, it doesn't seem like that's the case. The vibe that I'm getting is this is a very impromptu type of situation that just came out of nowhere. That's just what I think. And yes, Sadie, okay? Anything's a possibility. I agree. Anything is a possibility. Okay. And again, when we look at, like, somebody's American made just said, Cavalcante had help. Maybe. Shoot. He went out there and he was running out there in those crazy wilderness streets for a minute there. I don't know if he got help, this guy here. Okay. And I don't know if Cavalcante got help while he was out there. I don't think that, but I think he got help trying to escape for sure. Okay. Those other inmates knew that he was about to escape. I'm sure he told somebody what his plan was. I'm a Spider-Man, walk all the way up this thing and crawl through this hole and hop over the fence and run for my life. Right. Anything's possible. Right. But again, pretty crazy stuff here. All right. Pretty crazy stuff. I am still very shocked that this guy has not been found yet. They have not caught this guy. He could be anywhere. Again, he could be anywhere. And it's frustrating. And then, of course, you had another copycat type of guy from last night try to do something stupid last night. Okay? Absolutely stupid last night. Let me grab some of these super chats really quick. Sandollar, thank you so much. Would like your opinion of his car tires, please. I don't know anything about his car tires. But you know, I'm sure he didn't like them because he ditched his car. Okay. I mean, let's be real. He just ditched his car. So car tires, I don't know. I don't know all about that. I haven't heard anything about car tires, car tracks or anything like that. But thanks for the question. And thanks for the super chat. Kimberly in Japan, thank you so much for the love. Hey, this is a worldwide problem. Mental health is so important. We all live in so much stress, and kids are just absorbing all of it. That's true. I see it in my students and try to hear them out, but we need more understanding and support. Yes, I agree. 110%. There needs to be a little bit more patience. I also do think that we're so busy, so hyper-focused in our own rat race. We're so busy running, trying to knock things out, trying to get things done, trying to make sure that bills are paid and food's on the table and all that stuff, that we forget to actually breathe and take a minute. Shoot, I catch myself doing that all the time, right? There's always 15 different things I got to do, okay? We all have responsibilities as adults, as people, as kids, as parents, as lovers, as friends. We all have responsibilities to hold up. We all have 15 different spinning plates going all at the same time, and we're just doing all this as best as we can, right? Trying to keep all the plates up in the air. It's tough, right? It's tough. But sometimes we forget that we need that moment to just take a moment to breathe. Whether it's just taking a mental day off, whether it's just taking a few, or even just a few minutes to just breathe, take a moment to just get kind of collect yourself and all that, I think is really important. But I also think it's important to speak to somebody. And it doesn't have to be a professional. It could just be your friend. It could just be your spouse. It could just be somebody you can confide in. Hey, here's what's going on today. I'm just really stressed. Here's what's going on, right? It's just taking a moment to slow things down for a minute. Because I get it. We all have to survive out here. We're all trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. I get it. But we all need to take a moment to realize that, hey, that 5 minutes won't kill nobody. To just take a breather. Take a moment to just breathe, because I already know, you got this schedule and you got to do this. You got to pick up the kids. You got to take them over there. You got to do this and then make sure they got lunch, make sure they get dinner, wash them, clean them, put them back into bed, lather, rinse, repeat all over again with the crazy schedules that we all have as adults, right? But it's also good when you get a moment to just take a moment to breathe. And also, not only a moment to breathe for yourself, but it's also a moment to even just listen to your spouse or listen to your kids, right? Family time is crucial. Family time is important, especially when you have that teenager or that kid, they're growing up, they're going through changes, they're going through things, right? They're going through things that they're still trying to understand. And I get it. You're the adult that's already been through that ish. And it's tough. If they don't want to listen to you, but at the same time, keep talking to them. Make sure you have that moment with your kids. Because in the blink of an eye, they're off to college. They're graduating from college. You're walking her down the aisle, or you're watching him get married. Then they start having kids of their own. And next thing you know, you're done. So I think it's really important that we start to listen, and we shouldn't just rely on our teachers and our schools to do all the work for us. Yes, they are basically glorified babysitters in a way, and yes, they are molding our children's minds and all that. But at the same time, 99% of the stuff that goes on in those kids' heads is from home. That's where they're learning everything. Sure, they're learning stuff from school. Sure, they're learning stuff from their friends. But at the same time, they're watching how you interact with your loved one, how you interact with them, how you interact with their problems, how you interact with problems. They're watching all of that. So somebody like Colt, who's watching his parents going after each other like cats and dogs, maybe not so many cats and dogs because the migrants would eat them all, right? I'm kidding. But they would go after each other like cats and dogs. He's watching that. He's seeing all that. Oh, let's not forget him and his siblings getting locked out of their home and them crying and begging to come back into the home. That's terrible. The foundation's at home. It all starts at home. And I truly believe if you're raising a good kid, all right, it's because your home is filled with good. And you're hoping that through that good, that kid is going to take that out and spread that goodness to everybody else he touches or they touch as well. In school, in social gatherings, out there in the world. That's what you hope for, right? But it starts at home. It starts at home. So, you know, something like this that happened with this Joseph Couch, it seems like his mental decline started around February. And it may have happened or started even further than that. And God only knows what's going on with him and why this happened. But at the same time, he's still out there, guys. He is still running amok. He is still doing God knows what. And they need to catch him. I'm keeping an eye on this for sure, because we definitely need to talk about this big time. But again, it is pretty wild that this even exists and that this man is still out there. The other thing, too, it seems like he's inspiring others to do other crazy stuff out here in these highways. So let me just say this, too. Please be safe when you're driving. I'm not trying to put any crazy, fear in your minds or anything like that. But let's be real. People are acting crazy nowadays. People are grabbing a pew and doing all types of unthinkable things. We just heard about a poking at a school that just recently happened. Okay, like and that's in another whole other city, whole other state than the stuff that we've been talking about as of late. It's getting dangerous out here. Okay, it's turning into the wild, wild west, and a lot of them have to do with little kids getting angry. Please talk to your kids. Please check in on your kids. I know it's tough. I know it's tough, especially when you're worried about 15 different things all at the same time. But it takes 2 seconds to just hear them out. It takes 2 seconds to just talk to them. It takes 2 seconds to do that could possibly change the trajectory of their lives. Something to think about. Anyway, guys, we're going to keep an eye on this, okay? And if there's more information about this, trust me, we will talk about it, okay? But I am keeping an eye on it, okay? I just feel like, sitting around listening to scanners for 17 hours just seems a bit... But that's just me, okay? But I will be looking into some stuff, I'll be pulling up the scanner, if we have to, that kind of thing. We'll see what happens here, all right? But we definitely will be giving you guys some updates about this here in the very near future. I'm going to hop off here, but I'm going to be hopping back on immediately afterwards because we do have to talk about this new breaking news revolving around Diddy. So I want to share that with you guys as well. So please hop back on. I'll be back on in about 3 minutes because I just need to set it up and get this thing moving because it's a short one, but it's crazy huge update. So we got to talk about it, okay? So please do me a favor. First off, thank you for all the super chats and the members chats and all that stuff. That really does mean a lot. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, please. Hit that reaction button. Don't forget to do that. Follow me on all my platforms. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, X/Twitter and Facebook. Show some love over there. Hit that follow button here on my main channel. Go to my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Show some love over there too. That'd be amazing. Okay, subscribe. I'm trying to get the 10,000 subscribers over there. We're finally in the 6s, which is amazing. Okay, but please show some love. Subscribe. That would be amazing. Okay, hit that join button down below. Become a member. Support this channel. And of course, check out my Patreon if you want to support even further. Patreon.com/The Pascal Show. Check out my merch page, PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys, I'm going to see you guys in about 3 minutes because we're going to knock this one out, okay? Huge update in more Diddy lawsuits. This is crazy, though. This one's crazy. This is crazy huge, in my personal opinion. And I'm going to explain why in the next show. So I'll see you guys in about 3 minutes. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. We'll talk soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.